George Millay saw the need to build a water park in Orlando, considering that Florida is known for being very hot, humid, and sunny. And so, after developing SeaWorld and with the success this park had, he went ahead and opened Wet n Wild Orlando on March 13, 1977. It was a huge success, like George predicted. The park did very well for a number of years, spanning over 30 acres with 17 water slides. 13 years later, Universal would open their second theme park, Universal Studios Florida, just 1 mile away from the water park. But it was in 1998, 21 years after opening, that Millay sold off his interests in his parks, and Wet n Wild Orlando was purchased by Universal. During this time, the park saw many new additions, but on June 17, 2015, it was confirmed that it would close on December 31st of the year after to make way for Universal's Endless Summer Resorts Surfside Inn & Suites, a part of the 2,800-room resort. Alongside that, a new Universal water park was announced, Universal's Volcano Bay. But this isn't the start of our story. Oh no. For that we need to go to a different continent and a different time.
Oh boy!
Before going into it, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and liking. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and in our Discord community with Disney and theme park fans just like you. Links are in the description below. In the late 1980s, the Walt Disney Company shifted their eyes to Europe for their next big endeavor. After a very thorough and harsh selection process, the Americans decided that Paris would be where the Euro Disney Resort was to be built. I've talked about this quite a bit over time in several videos, one of which being this, where I go over all that was originally planned for Euro Disney's future. You see, Michael Eisner wanted to build Europe's own Disney World, filled with hotels, shopping, transportation, yes, a monorail, theme parks, and more. In those plans, you could find the Euro Disneyland Park, Disney MGM Studios Europe, a European Westcott, and what we came here to find, a water park. If you've seen that video, you will know what I'm talking about. Located behind the Sequoia Lodge Hotel, a masterful water park would appear. Lava Lagoon would take water parks to a whole new level, in terms of theming, immersion, and operations. The goal would be for hotel guests to extend their stay with new activities and experiences, and therefore keep hotel guests in their resort for more time each trip. The Parisian winters weren't forgotten, as temperatures reached below freezing, and so the park would be divided into two zones, an indoor area that would feature the better part of the theming, services, and amenities, and an outdoor area that would double the capacity of the park during the summer and warmer months. The park would feature an impressive central icon, where the biggest slides and attractions would be found. There would be a couple of slides and restaurants outside as well, and a large beach facing a lagoon. The beaches inside of the dome would feature volcanic black sand, but the lagoon would be lined with beautiful white sand. The lagoon would also connect to Lake Disney, allowing boat access to the resort hotels in Disney Village, and across from the water park would sit a new resort hotel. As seen in this plan of the park, the indoor area would be an impressive sight to see. Rising from the heavily themed ground, there would be a huge volcano, the centerpiece of the park. This massive volcanic peak would be called the Big Kahuna. Down its slopes would be numerous slides, and it would be circled by several winding paths and lazy rivers. Surrounded by lush tropical vegetation and South Pacific theming, the volcano will be surrounded by a number of exciting features. Just like in Universal's Volcano Bay, inside the volcano, guests would find many exciting attractions. For me, the real attraction of the Lava Lagoon would be the amazing tropical and tiki theming. The top level of the indoor area would feature restaurants, shops, and other facilities such as saunas. This makes it incredibly similar to Volcano Bay, and there's good reason for that. One of the lead Imagineers working on this Euro Disneyland project was Thierry Coupe, someone that worked in Imagineering Paris as principal production designer from 1990 to 1995, the year Lava Lagoon was originally planned to open. Then, he started working as a creative director in Universal Creative. This is where we enter the second and normally overlooked part of the story. For this we need to make a stop in Spain's brand new, back in the day, theme park, PortAventura. The park had opened in 1995 and was quite a success. Universal, eager to enter the European market, saw it as a great gateway and bought the park in 1998, naming it Universal Studios PortAventura. During this time, a complete restructure and master plan were designed for their newest acquisition, which included many hotels, new attractions, and a water park. Until 2002, this was the main focus, expanding the park and creating a new resort destination. That year, the Costa Caribe water park and the resort's first hotels, Hotel PortAventura and Hotel El Paso, were opened to the Spanish public, but this was even bigger than that, as it would also mark a further rebranding, now calling it Universal Mediterranean. Costa Caribe was at the heart of Universal's plan, and so it had to be exciting and new. For the development, they hired Forac to design everything, which they did from 1998 until the opening 4 years later. The park would have an indoor and outdoor area, with the big icon being a huge volcano at its edge. Over at Disneyland Paris, a second gate had most of the European market's eyes, as it would also open in 2002, the same year as the big Universal Mediterranean project. But the project wouldn't be ready in 2002, and in fear of being overshadowed by Disney's Studios Park and to directly compete with the biggest player in Europe, they decided to keep the volcano and surrounding areas for Phase 2 of the water park. Universal Mediterranean opened everything on time and was a success. The same cannot be said for the lackluster Walt Disney Studios Park. Phase 2 was seemingly in good hands. That was until Vivendi, Universal's parent company, sold all interest in the American entertainment giant, which then formed NBC Universal. In 2004, NBC Universal sold PortAventura back to the investment group that used to be a big shareholder. With this, Costa Caribe's expansion was put on hold for some years. That was until 2009, when La Caixa, that now owned the resort, saw the need for expansion and cleaned off the dust from the old plans and gave it some keystone for redevelopment. With this, we saw the return of the volcano and got more information on what it would look like. Being an impressive 45 meters high, it would definitely catch everyone's eyes. Crater, the volcano's name, would have two of the park's highest slides, with one dropping courageous visitors 19 degrees from the huge top of the volcano. It's very likely that inside the volcano, other smaller activities would be found, and similarly to Volcano Bay, the back of the structure would be open and house the queues to the rides. The project was going well, but once again, PortAventura would be sold and this scrapped. The new owners didn't want to spend that much money on theming and thought guests would be okay with just the slides. So the volcano was scrapped and only the two slides built, some 14 meters short of the original concept. The tallest one is currently the tallest slide in Europe and is now called King Cajuna, which could be paying some respect to the Euro Disneyland's volcano from Lava Lagoon B. Kahuna, but that might be reaching too far. With the volcano concept being cancelled 2 times, the old saying makes a cameo, as the 3rd time would truly be the charm. Theory Coop brought the concept to Universal once again, and on 2015, the company announced the closure of Wet n Wild Orlando, as they would be building a much more elaborate, themed, and immersive water park in their Floridian resort. For this, Universal will be using previously undeveloped land just by their brand new Cabana Bay resort. Volcano Bay has 4 different themed areas, each inspired by Polynesian islands and cultures, these being Krakatau, Wave Village, River Village, and Rainforest Village. The centerpiece is similar to the other 2 times, a huge volcano, Krakatau, coming at 61 meters tall. Being built in Orlando, there was no need for an indoor section, but the water is heated during the last 4 months of the year. The park became a new standard, and combined with new technologies, it was a big success, bringing in 1.5 million visitors in its first year of operation, and reaching an all-time high in 2022 with 1.85 million guests. Universal went all in with the theming of the park that truly immerses those who visit, and were able to take a long-forgotten concept from a faraway resort and transform it into an experience for the whole family, proving that good ideas never die, they just take 3 times to come to life. Well, that's it for our video. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you did, make sure to subscribe as I upload weekly videos on theme parks from the past to the future. And now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.